things are not always as they seem. Sometimes during my morning quiet times, I go for a walk in nature because that's where I feel God's presence. And one morning this week, I did just that. And as I was walking along, admiring the beauty of the tree-lined path that I was on, I actually remember touching the leaves of the blossoming vines and feeling the waxy leaves. And I remember just how everything is getting so green. And I watched the birds chirping and watched them dance among the trees. And the beauty just really caught my eye. And I remember thanking God that for the cycle of the seasons. I was thanking Him for making all things new and for the renewal that comes with spring. I was thanking Him for how nature flows and the transformation in nature and the different seasons, and how He orchestrates that same transformation and that same change in us when we tune into His Spirit. It's such a beautiful thing. But as I was walking along and thanking Him, and in that moment in joy, admiring the beauty of the trees and admiring the beauty of nature, one huge pine tree in particular caught my eye. And it stood majestically right in the center of the other pine trees. And its needles were lush and they were really green, super green. And really the others paled in comparison to this pine tree. And I said to myself, wow, that's really something. I actually stopped and stared at it, kind of probably with my mouth open. And I thought, that's so perfect looking. Until I examined it a little bit more closely. And I realized that it was actually a very tall, huge electrical or cellular tower of some kind that was made to look just like a big, beautiful, perfect pine tree. The lush green branches were so perfectly designed and arranged on it, but it covered its steel brown trunk. So I remember again just gratitude pouring over me. You know, that feeling that happens to you when you just hear truth in your spirit. And I thought to myself, isn't that just like us? That as a society, we are so dazzled by the perfection of the artificial. And we buy into that illusion. And when we were really created for real. We're all about appearance. We're all about looking perfect. We're all about impressing others, just like that pine tree. Wanting to be the best, wanting to be the richest, wanting to be the most majestic, the grandest, to stand out and not be like the others, just like that artificial pine tree. We want to be special. As I gazed on the tree and I pondered that truth, I really started to kind of feel sad because I realized, despite the perfect appearance of that tree, and despite its beauty, that it would never experience swaying in the wind. It's never going to experience having wildlife crawl all over it and make its home in the tree trunk or on the branches. It's never going to experience the flow of sap. It's never going to experience having the budding of pine cones. That tree would never have its roots grow deep into the earth. And so it's really missing out. And because there's no life in the artificial. There's no growth. There's no fruit. There's no connection. And it's just like us. We were made to grow. We were made to have different seasons of life. We were made to transform. We were made to connect and to produce fruit. We were created for real relationship, for genuine connections. And the true beauty of that natural imperfection of authenticity is what connects us most to others and to God. You see, we can either impress people or we can connect with them. We can impress them with what we know. We can impress them with what we have or what we've achieved. Or we can connect with people in our vulnerability, in our struggle, in their struggle. We can connect in our stories. But the enemy wants us to isolate, wants us to continue performing, wants us to stay silent and stay in competition and comparison. But that is actually counterfeit for what we really want, which is connection and authenticity. You see, nothing is perfect. We all know that. But that's what's so beautiful about living things. That's what's so beautiful about life. And that's what's so beautiful about me and you.